part of leadership is also results matter. Lots of is out there where people are like, I'm doing my best, I'm striving, I'm trying or whatnot. The hard truth is in the end, it's all good and efforts that people put in with all the good intentions, that's fine. But without delivering results, it doesn't matter. Simple as it is. In the end, results gonna speak for what you do. And that's as simple as it is. And performance in a company matters.
Hi everyone, my name is Marissa, head of marketing here for TGW North America with another episode of our podcast. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, our CEO in North America, Christian Lahnsteiner. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Marissa, for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into some different topics with you. But before we begin, I think it'd be interesting for you to give a bit of your background. I think something many people might not know about you is that you've spent quite a bit of your career at TGW, but you've also had some twists and turns along the way to becoming our CEO, if you want to share your story a bit.
Yes, I'll start at the very beginning, but I'm not going to take too long, I would say.
Yeah.
So overall, I started my career at TGW back in 2004, started as an application engineer, which I got to say is still one of my most favorite jobs, because the way I would describe that job, it's like playing Lego just for grown-ups.
Yeah.
For grown-ups, meaning it's a little more pricey building those warehouse automation systems versus building a Lego set, obviously.
Yeah.
But overall, you can think about it the same way, the modularity of it and the way how it's done. I really appreciated that first job of mine. Then quickly forward, I progressed in my career. I chose to go for leadership early on in my career. I was leading a business unit back in Austria before I came over here. Then I came over here to the United States in end of 17, beginning of 18, first leading our production entity that we then, out of strategic reasons, decided to sell. I was asked to go with the deal because functioning management is always good to go with the deal if everything's working fine. So we did. Ventured out into private equity world 2 years ago, and here I am back, helping TGW once again. Couldn't resist. It's a great company and it's great values. You want to come back to that. That's what private equity world got advantages as well.
Yeah.
And disadvantages, like every company setup got. But I was long time with TGW before venturing out for those 2 years. I liked it, and there's a reason I'm back.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, one of the main things I wanted to talk with you about today is leadership. Partly because I find the topic interesting myself and I like hearing other people's perspectives on it. But also I think it's really interesting for our customers as well. Because yes, you can make the argument that warehouse automation reduces the number of jobs, but I would almost say that leadership is all the more important for them. Because if you think about implementing ergonomic picking workstations, now you widen your labor pool, so you have to think about leadership across multiple generations or physical abilities. Training changes because of these digital tools. When you're going through these big changes and implementations, change management is really important. Does that sort of thing, do those ideas resonate with you as well?
Yes, very much so. But lots of questions in one, I would say.
Yeah.
I spotted 3 questions there. I'd like to take it step by step if that works. So leadership in general. I said earlier that I started my leadership career rather early in my career. So I was TGW 2004, working as application engineer. In 2007 already, 3 years in the job, I took on leading a small group. So lots of experience there, and why I'm saying that is not to brag about the experience or whatnot. What I found interesting at the time is you cannot prepare very much. There is lots of people try nowadays to do leadership classes and how it's good to interact with people and stuff like that, but that knowledge all goes away if you don't have anything to practice with. I'm a friend of, you get started in a small, safe environment, which I kind of like did, where you cannot cause major damage for a company, let's say so, where you're in a safe space, you're in general the right person to do the job. Obviously, you got the knowledge of what you do, but then leadership comes in, and all those trainings and everything that's available, I think it only makes sense when you also have later on something to apply. It's the same with any language you learn or whatever. You can learn as good as Spanish as you want. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to go. And it's the same with leadership.
Yeah, makes sense.
And there is not really a wrong or right or what's important. You learn lots of things on the way, and I think like everywhere in life and also going a little bit to automation, it's very important to be adaptable to the situation. Adopt to whatever situation you find, and that's a big thing in leadership as well. Some leaders like to just stay in their lane, and that's the right way to do it, and the only way versus I say no. You got to adopt and see what the situation actually is, and then bring your experience and adopt to the situation. The best way that I like to describe leadership in general, if there is such a thing as general leadership, is I like to be future-focused and create environments where people can strive. Many people in leadership, they like more the controlling micro leadership style, which I'm totally against, because that's not a lasting impact.
Yeah.
That's basically you doing the job of your employees, which
right.
at times it is necessary. And I said, you got to adopt from situation to situation. If it's a really critical situation, you need to step in, help the team and stuff like that, fully understood. But it should not be the general go-to. General go-to should be creating environments where everybody can strive and grow by themselves, create more, multiply more of what you want to bring out there.
Yeah.
But that would be my take on leadership.
Yeah, yeah.
Second one that you touched on was automation. What does it do? Mm-hmm. What do we see kind of like when we implement those systems? Which sort of is connected to leadership, maybe not. I see more connected to what jobs do we create and what's the benefit for the client with the automation, talking about the employees there, because there's always a pro and con. And the way I would see, let's start there with automation. If you have a manual warehouse, if you look at some studies and you look at how much a manual warehouse worker has got to lift every single day, when we're talking about going through a rack, putting it on a roller cage or whatever it is, or a pallet on a pallet jack, we're talking about 20 metric tons a day. Mm-hmm. That is not sustainable on the long run. Yeah, so there got to be something else. There got to be something smarter. And now one could say, well, we rationalize away jobs and whatnot, where I say, we look out for the health of the warehouse workers as well. For sure, there is going to be a little less jobs or different jobs in the future, but better jobs. Mm-hmm. You and me, you don't want to work 20 hours, 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week, every day, 20 metric tons.
Right.
Nobody survives that very long.
Yeah.
And let's convert that. We create smarter jobs, more interesting jobs. If you look at our picking stations or whatnot, we create a benefit for our client that the onboarding time is way lower.
Yeah.
Even a manual warehouse, if you look at it, all the variety of tasks that are there to do, it takes a while. We're talking 3 months, 6 months, depending on how complex the environment is, to onboard a person, a new employee to your job. It's taken a while. And all that onboarding and all that exercises, all the training efforts, they lead to less efficiency along the way. So if you want to scale and grow, that takes away from your efficiency, your scalability, everything. If you look at our new workstation, to train somebody there, literally done in 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
For sure, it's also repetitive and boring. That's why you need to switch around to a certain degree.
But it's easier to do cross-training.
Exactly. And then you can go from there. You have your starting position, like in every career, that is easy and simple. For sure, granted, it's repetitive and may seem boring to some people. Some people like that. That's fine as well. But then you can grow from there, and that makes it interesting. And the third one, which one were we going there? What was the third question, sort of?
No, I think you've kind of covered some of the things that I've been thinking about. And I know in general, we've talked before about performance. I remember when you joined our company 2 years ago, you did this unique thing where you had managers come and spend time with you and they could ask you any question, any topic. And I remember in our conversation, we talked about good wines. Yep. And then we also talked about performance-driven culture. So maybe you want to talk in a little bit about your perspective on that.
First of all, the thing that I did there with the open office in the beginning, that's going to come again. I was just reminded by a colleague that was a good initiative, which I wanted to really get close to every employee and get a good feel of the culture of the company. That's why I did it in the beginning. But then I was reminded just 2 weeks ago, like, hey, lots of people changed. We've been growing. How about you give that chance again? And I'm like, yeah, good idea. I would have loved to think about that myself, but thanks for the reminder. We're going to have that again.
Yeah.
And part of leadership is also results matter. Lots of is out there where people are like, I'm doing my best. I'm striving. I'm trying or whatnot. The hard truth is, in the end, it's all good. And efforts that people put in with all the good intentions, that's fine. But without delivering results, it doesn't matter. Simple as it is. In the end, results going to speak for what you do. And that's as simple as it is. And performance in a company matters. We can all be nice people, and that's the general assumption. I wouldn't hire anybody that I would say, well, you want to work against our culture or whatnot. Yeah. That's kind of like the baseline of the minimum we need to have. And then we all need to show performance and help each other with it. It's not that we want to have... for obvious reasons, we're dealing with big projects. We don't want to have single warriors. We want to have a great team collaboration, everything like that. But once again, in the end, results matter. And that's just the simple truth about it.
So how do you kind of build that up? Is it about, setting goals or, different tactics and trainings to kind of really encourage and instill people to think about performance in their work?
Yeah. For me, alignment is the most important one. Goals is one that you touched on 100%. That's how we achieve alignment. And just like how we implemented it now years back is we start on the top, company goals are giving out, and then you got to break it down to every single individual through the leadership ranks that we have. And really also important, next to transparent and aligned, also make tangible goals. I don't like goals that are very general, that are hard to grasp, that at the end of the year you get together and like, what did we mean with that? I'm not certain. it's got to be really easy to grasp. Like for sales, it's always the most simple one, certain X number of order intake in $1 million, and here you go.
Yeah.
It's going to get more difficult if you go to finance or an accountant. What's that goal? Make it tangible. But we got to all, and I don't say it's easy, but we all got to strive as good as we can towards tangible goals that are aligned with what's coming from the top.
Yeah, I think another thing that you've brought up before on your social media and in conversations with some people here is how much you place a value on integrity, trust, and honesty. And that seems like it'd be really important, especially going through times of change and times of growth, just being very transparent. Do you have any other suggestions for our customers who might be going through change management, any strategies or tips around there besides transparency and honesty?
Yes, accountability got to be 100% clear. Nowadays, in lots of meetings that you face, especially if it's meetings with audiences or with teams that don't know each other well, global collaboration, not only about TGW in general in any company, the accountability is going to be hard. If you go into those meetings, you ask a specific topic, you ask who's accountable first. What most people do, duck and run sort of things. Not good. We want to foster a culture where it's very clear who's accountable for what. Leading change, that's crucial, because otherwise you don't take steps forward. And with every change, there is sometimes 2 steps forward, 1 step back, which is fine. We're still moving forward. We don't want it to be the opposite way. And in order to achieve that in every area of whatever change you're leading right now, may it be a cultural change, may it be to a performance-driven culture like we had it or whatnot, it's got to be very clear for everybody working on that change and driving it forward, what am I accountable for? And then also being held accountable.
Yeah, and you brought up before kind of engineering for the future, and that requires being innovative and curious. I mean, we've seen time and again, companies who don't change and evolve, they quickly get passed up by their competitors. So it seems like something that's very crucial for a lot of businesses. So how do you encourage creativity and, letting these new ideas that come up actually be achieved instead of in some companies where they just die right away because people are too scared?
So first, let's look at the market that we're in. And I'm not talking about our clients' market so much, but really our warehouse automation market right now. If you look at what's happening out there, new companies popping up left and right with new technologies. And if we would stay course and say we would just implement whatever we got, there was a trend years back where all the companies were consolidating, and the big integrators such as us, we would just implement their own equipment, kind of like. If you do that in nowadays world, you're going to fail. Or if you try to keep up by yourself, inventing everything that you see out there that seems like a good technology, you would probably fail because you cannot keep up. There's just the general market. There's so much going on between market consolidation, new companies popping up that we need to adapt. And adapt in a way, it's fine. And I think we need to become one of the best integrators. No matter what the technology is out there, for sure, we got our own core technology, which is making our systems more stable and more controllable for ourselves, or the backbone technology sort of we have, but it's no problem implementing other technologies as well. And that's where we got to be open. That's where you got to change as well with the market. If I look back at when I started in the industry back in 2004, there wasn't a big integrator out there that had all the technology himself. It was more like a consortium of different companies working together, which was fine at the time. What happened then is that one of our biggest clients broke away, and we had to integrate more of our technology ourselves and be an integrator ourselves. Nowadays, the time is you don't just integrate everything by yourself that you got in your own overview. You got to be capable of integrating other technologies out there as well. And that constant change and adaptability that we've shown at TGW as a group, that's what's keeping us where we are.
Yeah, and it seems like you'd have to think too about building relationships with, or partnerships even with different companies, with different vendors, and that requires a different kind of spirit than just hanging back and waiting for someone to tell you what to do.
Exactly. We got to be active out there. We always got to be on the outlook. What's the next new thing? What would be complementary to the solutions we already provide? Because obviously we have a big bandwidth of great solutions, even with our own technology. But there is always going to be some complementary other stuff out there that we always want to keep an open eye. Just wait and see approach is not going to cut it. And the partnerships that you speak of also very important. There might be companies out there that seem maybe as a competitor because they do something along the lines of us, but the beauty about our market as well is it's big. And the real players out there that can pull off those big integration projects, they are few. If you look at big global players out there, without naming anyone, but their demand is so huge that there's always going to be something left over, even if you, with some company that you collaborated once, the next time you're facing maybe competition. That's just okay. We're all trying to do and implement the best solution for the client. And it might not always be us. Most of the time it will be.
Yeah, you've touched on this a little bit too, and maybe I want to get more into this. As our company grows, how do you maintain the culture and how do you keep everyone focused on the same goals as you bring in new team members and new players?
Yeah. In the overall theme of being transparent, having goals, float down, and all of that is gonna stay the same. What you want to make sure is that the maturity level of all the leaders that we have in the company is on the right level. The smaller the company, the less mature whole leadership is together, and I'm not finger pointing here towards middle management or top management or whomever. The more professionalized and the more mature we all gotta be together. Mm-hmm. That's what all the leaders need to work on.
Yeah.
There is many companies that promote very much from within, and then from within the best expert becomes the next leader, which is entirely wrong. It might be okay for somebody coaching somebody else or something like that, but really taking on leadership role, providing direction, typically those traits don't go along. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, there are individuals out there that can combine being the best in the technology and being great leaders. That is fine, which is okay, but don't promote, and that's what you got to make sure, just the best in the technology for the leader all the time. We really want to look precisely at leadership skills, and that's going to become critically important the more we scale.
Yeah, I think as a leader, you have to have really good judgment skills and risk assessment and, being able to evaluate a situation and know exactly what to do. Do you find for yourself that usually comes from your intuition or experience built up over time, or do you find yourself a little bit more analytical when it comes to decision-making?
I want to say, once again, adaptability. Depends on the situation. I got some experience that I can draw from, so if you're doing leadership for a while, at some point things become repetitive and you just look at what happened in the past, but that can also come with a danger. Maybe you misjudge the situation is not the same like it was in the past and you take a wrong turn. What I like to roll with when I'm faced with some new challenges is listen to people, talk to people, listen about their opinions. You're not always the smartest in the room. There are different topics that you're facing. And once again, it's hardly likely that you're the smartest one on every of the topics. There might be some topics that you've seen before where you're naturally good at or whatever, you have a good intuition. But most of them listen to the opinions that are out there. There are lots of experts around in our company that we have, and then make up your mind.
Mm-hmm. Maybe one other question that's a little bit of a pivot here, but when I think about our customers, there's a lot of complexity that they're navigating. There's geopolitical, economic complexity. There's the complexity of just operating their business on the day-to-day level. And even if they can see that warehouse automation makes sense for the business, it provides the scalability, flexibility, performance that they need, there is some risk and some judgment that they have to make too. So how do you think about instilling confidence in our customers so that they trust us as a partner for their automation journey, and also that the warehouse automation solutions that we're providing make sense for them?
So first of all, it's our job to help them on that journey. And I like it, how you say it, the journey. It's not a project by project business. It's a journey that we're with our clients on. And let me start with a typical client of ours. We're in the fashion industry, right? Those guys, all their internal teams from HR to finance, whomever, they are geared towards what they do, fashion. They are not geared toward, hey, we need warehouse automation. So even the internal team that's promoting automating the warehouse for whatever benefits they have, it's not the main goal of the company.
Sure.
So if you look at them, they might come up with ROI models that are 3 to 5 years because that's what they know from their core business, not from warehouse automation. It might be different, and that's why we need to work, because the teams within our clients, if they even have an engineering team, they are kind of like the outsiders within their own company. And we want to team with them and help them, really educate them, working with the other part of their business, which is mainly the core business and all the financial improvement and whatever they need to in order to be successful. And not only for our sake to sell something, because that's not it. That would be a project-to-project business, short-term goals, which we're not aiming for. We want to be their long-term partner, really proving out a business case together with them. Some of the clients are naturally good at that, some of them are not, and that's when we come in.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, maybe to wrap things up then, is there anything else that you don't want to talk about when it comes to leadership, culture, where you feel like TGW North America is heading?
I guess so. For us, what's very important next to everything we've talked about is going to be growth. What we got a natural talent at TGW for is we're good engineers. We got good products. We got great solutions. But I don't know if that's a saying in the English language, but do good things and talk about it. We do good things, but we don't talk about it, meaning we don't advertise for ourselves well enough. We've now started in the US, as you very well know, with some more marketing and business development initiatives, getting out there what we do, and we just got to keep on doing that better. It's not enough in nowadays world that you're just good in what you're doing and then naturally everything comes to you. We're talking about diversification of the market, lots of new technology, lots of new players out there, and they can be very distractive for our clients or somebody that wants to invest in warehouse automation to see who's actually doing what. if you're coming into the market, having to choose a vendor, it looks like all of the same, kind of like it's hard to separate. That's why we need to be more active, not only being the best in what we do, but also talk about it and promote ourselves, which is leading to growth. And that's all that matters for now in the US. We need to grow market penetration and get our name out there. I'm certain we got the good solutions, products, the people, everything to make it happen. Let's just talk about it more and focus on growth.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Christian, for sharing these topics around leadership, culture, and performance. I hope our listeners have also enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for watching, and join us for the next episode.